Hello everybody and welcome to another list video today. We're going to be talking about our wish list for the next campaigns. I've noticed a lot of discourse online about Scarlet Keys, where
it's controversial.
It's controversial. I like Scarlet Keys. I think the scenarios in it are really good. I think that
I like some of the scenarios.
Yeah, I mean I've only played most of them. I've only played two of them twice, so I have to see more.
I like the novellas that are the card text.
Yeah.
On half the investigator cards. That's kind of sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not going to be talking about specific. Like, I imagine we might talk a little bit about current campaigns there, but we're talking about like what we want for future campaigns and like designs, flavors, themes, all that kind of stuff of what we would love to see. I mean, if we don't see it, we'll probably still play it because the game is still pretty fun.
Yeah, but just Justin will be sad.
Yeah, I will be, and you don't want to make me sad. You don't. Well, Travis might. I noticed you already have the deck list made up. Justin, wrong about Min. I saw that deck list. I see everything. I see it all.
I don't want you to be sad. I just want to make sure you know I'm right.
All right, but why don't we dive in and talk about some stuff? This is kind of just a few things that we want. First one, investigator traits to matter more. We want them to matter more. So, Bryn, this was yours for what you kind of want.
Yeah, it's just like right now, investigator traits are for the most part flavor text on the card. That's what they are, which is fine. That they don't have to be more than that, but it would be cool if they were. Like, for example, cards that maybe only a criminal can play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which also opens up some design space for like you can make cards stronger because they are more limited in their scope, right? Only some people can play them, like Skids. Who is not good. But
weapons that Tony can't play.
Yeah.
Even just parts of like campaign lead in, like in the dreaming side, where they care about what traits your card has printed.
Yeah, because
there are the odd one of those in the Scarlet Keys.
Yeah, there's a few of them, but they don't really do much.
No, they're just like minor spoilers for one of the scenarios, but like in the Shades of Suffering one, when you like go into her tea shop and she's like, "There's evil spirits in there." You're like, "You're a mystic. You can tell there's evil spirits."
Yeah, or like clairvoyant. Yeah.
Good.
Like getting to start backstage if you're low.
Basically. You're like, "Oh, good. I got to read an extra paragraph. Thanks."
I actually, the Dream Eater opening, I always forget when it happens, and then I like flip to the front page and I'm like, "Oh, it's really fun." But I agree. Like, can you let's just go to the investigator book, right? Like. Drifter, just like even like that one of things. Like there's a bunch of performers. A millionaire for Preston, just make a busted big money green card.
You can make like alternate, like you can make a beat cop that's better, but only police can play.
Yeah. And like Wayfair, actually that'd be cool. Kind of like upgraded versions, like alternate upgrades of existing cards that are like class trait specific. Yeah. Criminal for Finn and Skids. There's a bunch of drifters. Jenny, Silas are drifters. Wow, that actually would be really sick.
Yeah, I think that would be some neat space to explore.
Yeah, like on the player card side of it. Yeah.
Well, even in the campaign part. But like, maybe you get to start the game up like a short act if you've got a criminal on your team, because you get to get like an in or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
You can have permanents, like you're a criminal, and they're like, like Underworld Connections or something like that. I don't know if that's a card or not already. It'd be like, at the start of the game, if it's criminal deck only, you get to look at the top 8 cards of your deck for a list of card add to your hand or something like that.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, just like,
Make it matter.
Yeah.
Like who you're playing matter more.
Yeah, that actually is
play more.
Yeah.
There's a cool custom one that I would love to get in paper sometime for us to play, but it's it uses that as a campaign mechanic. So like certain locations, there's a benefit if you are like a certain trait, and then but it's like it's not like one where it's like if you are this trait you get a positive. It's like 2 positives and a negative. And if your value of that location is like if you're in the positive, you get a benefit that someone else does.
Yeah, I could see that being like dangerous. If they implement it poorly, if they're like, if you're not this trait, then this location has +5 shroud, and then like you pick the wrong investigator, and then the scenario just sucks for you.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. But that's the nice thing about custom campaigns is that they can explore these things, and we can be like, oh, that worked, or maybe that didn't, and all that. Yeah, that seems really fun. I definitely want that. Let's see what's next. Expansions on existing themes and mechanics, and less gimmicks. Travis.
Yeah, this was a player card one specifically, where like I like to see them expanding on things like the survivor evade by two thing that they apparently care about sometimes, or like the bless and the curse tokens, which I understand why I haven't done that one yet. It was pretty recent. Or like stat reduction as a way for seekers to interact with things. And like you can just print more cards for the game. You don't need to have some new shiny thing in every investigator box that you're not going to touch ever again. Like curse and bless, or like customizable, or like multicolor cards that were just shoehorned into a second color for the sake of it.
I mean, some of the multicolor cards are very good.
Yeah, no, some of them make sense, but a lot of them could very easily have just been one color, and they're like, yeah, this is the other color too.
Yeah, like the Cyclopean Hammer, it could have just been purple.
Yeah, it could have just been purple. Yeah.
Point.
You're not wrong. I agree 100%.
It would be a lot better, because then you'd have to you'd be a much jankier fighter.
Yeah, and it'd be kind of funny just to see Marie Lambeau just be like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, plus the fact that it takes up an arcane slot would matter more.
Yeah, like On the Trail could easily have just been a blue card. All the things it does are blue things, but they're like, we need a blue-yellow card, slap it on there.
Yeah, but it also discovers clues or whatever.
Yeah, blue does that conditionally as well. Yeah, because it requires an enemy to be in play.
Blue gets to do nothing but fight. No other action. Only
fight and soak. Fight and soak.
You can get clues dependent on enemies. You have evidence, you have seen the crime, you have...
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It is like how they're supposed to play if you aren't playing.
Yeah, you got Green Wagner.
They're like green. Like they can interact with enemies. Yeah.
No, I just want more Bless and Curse cards so that, our boy Tristan Botley is better. Because, I miss shouting Tristan Botley.
Yeah.
But also, that's probably not going to happen again soon.
It's one of those things where, because they release one box a year, it feels like forever until we get them to revisit stuff. And they haven't revisited much. They did the multicolor stuff, but like you said, a good chunk of them just feel multicolored for the sake of being multicolored.
Yeah, they didn't even... I'd argue it's like a totally different theme, where those ones are intended to be multicolors that can be played by a wide variety of investigators, whereas the ones from Circle Undone were intended to be like a branching investigating path.
Yes, yeah.
Or a branching upgrade path, which is like kind of what they did with customizable to like an extreme.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Entirely tangential here, but I would like to see multicolor take more of a path like the Holy Rosary did.
Yes.
Where the level 0 is one color, but the upgrade is a different color for reasons. Or things like the difference between the leather jacket and the leather coat. Where we get one that's red because it's free and takes damage, and one that's green because it doesn't cost you an action.
Yeah, honestly, those both could have just been
those are
leather coat.
Cool. Yeah, they could have just both been called leather coat.
That actually, definitely, and then they can reuse the art.
Yeah,
save them some cash.
Although the leather jacket does make more sense in green because it's a stylish leather jacket.
Yes,
and not like the old leather coat.
Yep, that's fair.
But I think that kind of multicolor is really neat.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more of it.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to be back to Curse and Bless in an upcoming expansion. Maybe not the next one, but the one after. Because now I think they can actually do it a little bit easier, where they can just put in the player card box and be like, here's the tokens, buy them, enjoy them. I wouldn't be surprised if actually next year, here's my guess, there's the Justin calling his shot. Next year, when the Innsmouth box gets revised, we're going to see a player card expansion, a new one with Blessed and Curse. So then people who just buy Innsmouth have these new toys to play with as well. That's my guess. That's that's my called shot.
That would make sense.
Yeah. And also on this one, I do want them to not kill a survivor archetype after one box. I would
No, that's how you know it's a survivor archetype, is that
I know it
in fact did not survive.
Yeah. It's the home of forgotten objects, right?
But, yeah, I mean, this is totally not how they intended it at all, I bet, but I do kind of like how when you're building a survivor, you're just taking pieces from different archetypes and kind of cobbling them together.
Yeah. I don't need to be we don't need more Who cares? Who cares?
What do you mean, you don't want more Exile?
No, I don't want more. I want more Exile. We don't need, like, for example, like, the Test at Zero is probably good as it is, right? But, like, I would love more stuff that, like, we see it in bits and pieces. You get, like, here is the one thing where it's like, you get to play this from your discard, from the new shield that we spoiled that I haven't played because the card doesn't seem that good. But I don't know, just, I understand that's, like, Survivor's thing, but, like, even, like, the investigators, they're just, like, you feel just, like, Calvin's just been sitting there for a while, just been like, hi, I'm Calvin Wright.
Yeah, I bet you that shield is pretty solid in Patrice, though.
Probably, yeah.
Where you just get to hang on to it and you're like, this thing's from another dimension, but can it beat garbage can lid?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's like,
oh, God! Yep. All right. More story from the scenario and not the campaign guide. So this is pretty common talk I've seen online about how the campaign guides have gotten too much of the story and the scenarios are kind of just atmosphere, as you said when we were talking about this in advance.
Yeah, I think a big issue with the campaign guys is, like, not so much that there's too much story, it's that there's, like, just too many words. Like, there's just... They take too much time to say what they need to for the sake of describing a bunch of things. Like, you know, you look at The Lord of the Rings, very good books, lots of people enjoy them, but if you don't want to read about the hobbits sing a song for 5.5 pages, like, you're gonna have a bad time, you know?
That is true, yeah.
You halfway through, or, you know, they get to Lothlorien or whatever, and then it's like, you know, fucking, like, 10 pages of Tolkien describing what the forest looks like, right? And you're just like...
It's important.
It is, yeah. No, like, they're good books. I enjoy them, but, like, lots of people aren't gonna... That's not gonna be their cup of tea, and when you're trying to appeal as many people as possible...
Yeah, it's... Yeah, because we recently played one of the new Scarlet Keys ones. The one in... Not Havana.
Yeah, that's the last one.
And, like, you compare it to, like, when you get the act and agenda in Dunwich, where it's like, you have to... Warren Rice is here, you have to go find him. Like, go do that, or else, like, things are getting late, and there's, like, a mysterious energy in the air.
Yeah, well, this is like, Warren Rice was last seen here. He likes gambling, and you're like, nice. And then the other one's like, there's a bunch of casino guys wandering around. You should probably try not to arouse suspicion from them. And then you, like, read Mob Boss, and you're like, yeah, he'll, like, hit me.
Yeah, and then...
Yeah, he's actually just here to sucker punch me if I start winning.
Yeah. And then in Havana, it just says it's raining.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's... I mean, like, this is being a little bit, like... Like, it says other stuff, too, but, like, the vibe of it is feels like there's less kind of... The storytelling seems to be less in the scenario themselves than what exists in everywhere else. And I like the whole kind of, like, I can... Because I don't care really about how much text is in the campaign guide. Because after we do our blind play, I never read it again, right? I only read the act and agenda to kind of set me the mood for it. And after, like, 2 years, if I get back to that one, I'll be like, what's going on? You know? But I'll always remember... that Professor Warren Rice is somewhere in the university. We have to find him. And then Jazz Mulligan shows up, and he's like...
Yeah, sometimes he doesn't, though.
Yeah, sometimes he doesn't.
He's just an asshole, and he's, like, on the other sid of the window. He's like, but you can't break the window to get to...
Or, like, in, like, Miskatonic Museum, when you... it opens with that there's a guard on the other side of the glass, and you can either, like, break in or tap on it. And if you break in, the guard goes, oh, shit, and then runs away, right? Like, that's really nice, short form... storytelling in the scenario itself.
Yeah, unlike the Scarlet Keys, like, it's raining. Get 12 clues, and you're like, okay. Yeah, see that in they moved all that text into the campaign guide. Like you see that in Shades of Suffering as well. I don't like Shades of Suffering at all.
I know.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys can tell. But, like, you play for, like, 20 minutes, play a couple rounds, and then you go to the tea shop, and they're like, here's a 1.5-page interlude. And you're like, okay, and then you get back to the game, and there's just, like, no information story-wise on the game, in the game. It's all, like, in that interlude, and it's like...
Yeah. This is actually, we're using this as kind of, like, a talking point for the reading, because a lot of people I've seen online, they say, you read for a long time in the Scarlet Keys, and you can't. Like, some people read for, like, a half hour to an hour. I mean, I think ultimately, that is... If that's what they want to do, it's fine. But my biggest beef with it is that they don't put this time on the box, right? Like, every board game, they generally tell you how long a game is. So, like, if these people get together once, like, every 2 weeks to play Arkham, and they're like, we have 2 hours to play, that's 2 scenarios. not with Scarlet Keys, right? And like that, I think is a big problem where like there needs to be some sort of foresight for that. If reading is included in game time, we shouldn't have to come up with solutions where it's like you send the PDF to everyone else in your play group and you read between sessions, right? Like that shouldn't exist in a board game box. It should be included within the time of the game.
That's fair.
Right? And I think that's like my biggest beef with it. Because people have limited time. Like as soon as like you get like parents playing this game and they get like 1 hour a week to play and then they spend the whole time reading and then like, all right, see ya in like 3 weeks and we can do it again, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
At least by then we'll have read the thing and we can just play the game, right?
Yeah.
Everyone will remember.
Yeah. Well, just here's the PDF so you can summarize it.
Yeah, just in case you forgot any of this.
Yeah. I also despise when they have like decisions hidden in the story before a scenario, so you can't even like skip through it or summarize it. You have to like give background up to the decision and like ask players like, hey, what do you want to do? And then you're like, okay, good, because that depends on how we set up the damn scenario.
Yeah. This is something that Beard, who designed Alice in Wonderland, in his campaign guides, and what he's now doing is he's basically saying you can stop reading at this point because everything else is flavor. You can just get to the scenario if you want, which I think is probably a good way. Or what they should I think what they could have done in Edge of the Earth was here is a page where you can read introductions to each character. Otherwise, go play the game, right? But we still have more.
Instead of having like a nice convoluted like 2 pages where every character happens to show up and displays like the notable aspects of their personality.
Quick, you have two sentences to sum up yourself. Well, I'm Cookie and I have a gun. You know? Have the big bad be a known ancient one. So
no more fuzzy slime.
No more fuzzy slime. Yeah. In all fairness to like the Edge of the Earth ancient one, mild spoilers. We're gonna try to be as vague as we can. It is based on something from a story, but it's not really like a known thing. It's not like you get Path to Carcosa and you're like, Carcosa, that's Hastur. This is sick. You get the Forgotten Age and you're like, there's snakes. That's gonna be Yig, right? You get Dunwich and over pretty quickly you're like, the Key in the Gate. This is who we know it is, right? Yeah. We haven't had like a big thing like that.
Yeah, and like Antarctica, you're like, it's the Elder things, but like, not really.
There's not like
like very briefly show up.
Yeah, and there's not like a big hook to it, because like I remember when we played Forgotten Age for the first time, and in the campaign guide it said Yig's Fury, and it was like that's cool, right?
Well, you don't want like horrible fuzzy molds Fury.
No, it just doesn't have a good ring. So I think the next one, they feel free to make your own. Like I think Umar Doth was a great creation, right? Like I think it's a cool like ancient one. There's a nice flavor, like King of the Ghouls, right?
I don't think they made Umar Doth.
I think they did.
I'll look it up right now.
Sounds good. Yeah, let me know. But I think we need to go back to like a known ancient one for the next few.
Yeah, unrelated to Arkham, but Travis's life advice of no more fuzzy slime, it's like pretty good.
Yeah.
Try to avoid that if you can.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. They did say in the summary that for the next one there was a hint that it's going to be a feast, so I'm hoping that's the Tsthugwa or whatever his name is. There we go. The frog, the toad.
I also hope it's Tsthugwa.
Yeah.
I just want them to give us a Kachalu Taos. One where you have to flip tokens, and if you flip the wrong one, you're dead and you gotta start again.
You are killed.
That guy's good.
All right. While Travis is looking up, I'm going to jump to the next one, which is stay in Arkham. I'm okay with you exploring the world, but we went to Antarctica, and we went all over the world. Why don't we just stay in Arkham for the next one?
Antarctica sounds like Arkham, so that's close
It is true. Antarctica.
We did stay mostly in Antarctica. So.
It's true, yeah. It is, yeah.
Is that really that different than being in Arkham, Antarcticum?
Antarcticum.
Something like that.
Because in the last bunch of campaigns, we were in Dream Eaters. We were in Arkham for 2 scenarios.
Well, I mean, arguably, we were in Arkham for a very long time because, that's where, the meat body was.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
So it's more like 6.
Yeah, okay.
Because, all of it...
Yeah, we were technically... You were dreaming the whole time. So technically, the dream side is in Arkham the entire time. That's true. That is true. That is actually very true. Yeah.
You want to get nitpicky about it,
But, the last full Arkham one was Circle Undone, which is a long time ago at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, None of the other ones previous were full Arkham either. That's the only one that takes place entirely in Arkham.
No, but I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, just, like, give us more Arkham than what we've gotten in a while. Like, even if, like, 3 of the scenarios are in Arkham, you know? They have, like, such a good base for it. Like,
yeah, part of the Forgotten Age was in Arkham.
yeah, Threads of Fate.
Yeah. Yeah, like exactly one time.
The greatest scenario.
Or yeah, no, never mind. We're good.
Yeah.
I know what campaign scenarios are from. Other fun lies you can tell yourself.
Yeah, like, I don't need it to be in the whole time because, you know, part of this is that you're not stuck to a board where it's like, here is the curiosity shop, here's the hospital. But, like, just give us, like, half of a campaign in Arkham. Let us just stay there for a bit. It's a cool environment, right?
Lovecraft was not an artist.
That's great. Okay, and this last one, this is actually just an expansion on a discussion that Travis and I had previously about bringing back, like, the haunted mechanic to punish clue getting. But someone pointed out to me in the comments that it really, haunted kind of doesn't really hurt seekers because their numbers are usually gigantic, right? It hurts more rogues and survivors. So something that I would like to see is punishing burst clue getting, or, for example, slows down the pace of clue getting. Deep Dark, as an example of that, is like, you see Deep Dark as a cluever, and you're like, well, what am I gonna do, right? And that's what a fighter thinks, like, pretty much every time they don't draw an enemy. They're like, well, what am I gonna do this turn? I guess I'll just advance my board state. And I think that, like, it's a way to do it, or punish, like, if you gain multiple clues, something happens, or, like, each time if you get more than 1 clues, something bad happens.
Yeah,
I think there's just some...
Maybe that's a variant on Ancient Evils that they should play around with, like if an investigator discovers more than 1 clue this round.
I think that
Gain of Doom.
I think it's much better to punish you for getting more than 1 clue.
Yes.
Like that, yeah. As opposed to, like, just saying you can't. Cause
Yes.
Then that... Generally, you want to make players make decisions. You don't want to, like, make them not be able to play the game. That's not fun.
You gotta put this deduction in your deck. I can't discover more than 1 thing. Why did I put this in my deck? This card sucks.
Yeah. Well, also you get in situations where, like, okay, we just get the clues off these 2 locations, then we can leave the game. Just like, no, you drew the wrong encounter card.
Yes, that is true. Also, like, something that also, like, would punish clue getting is there's that one false leads where if you have clues, you have to test book and you put down clues. If this was, like, a rogue card, like, if it was, like, something to stop rogues, it'd be like, test the stat you're not good in and lose actions. For example, Frozen in Fear, right? And, like, I think that if we're going to punish clue getting, that card should, like, do something besides challenging your book.
It cannot be test book because, like...
You're like, okay.
Man, if you're not already at 6, what are you doing?
Yeah. So I want to see more kind of design in that space, because enemies, if you don't have an enemy, if you don't have a way to kill an enemy, you're going to probably lose the scenario, or it's going to be really tough. We've seen that in some of our recent ones where we kind of been playing more slapdash together, like, team comps.
Are you suggesting that we've gotten less and less serious as this has gone on?
Well, I certainly haven't. As you said, Fun Justin's dead. He died. But with clue getting, you determine the pace of the game, and you also just, like, aren't punished if you fail a clue getting like you fail a test, right? Unless you have committed a bunch of stuff to it. And I think that just that balance needs to change slightly.
Yeah, no, it is tough to punish clue getting, because that's how, like, you advance the game, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want players to feel bad for, like, playing the game. Especially since there's, like, multiple ways to deal with it. Like, there's an enemy who's like, yeah, you gotta, like, it punishes you for fighting. You can evade him for a while to deal with him, but there aren't really alternatives to that for clues.
Yeah.
Have you ever played, like, Mariner's Compass Rex with a divination, or with not a divination, deduction?
Yeah.
In 4 players? You don't even need somebody else to help you.
Yeah.
You just show up and you're like, give me all the green dice, or whatever we're using to...
If you're not using green dice for your clues, you might need to see a doctor.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Those are our wish lists for the next campaign. You found anything?
Yeah, like, you're mostly right. They were,
Okay.
Rudolph he's, like, based on Morgan from Karkashin Smith, the Charnel God.
Okay, so yeah, okay.
He's like the god of ghouls or whatever, but like Umerdoth as a character was created by Fantasy Flight for core set.
I'll take 70% win on that one then.
Yeah, no, you got it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. What are your wish lists for the next campaigns? Let us know down in the comments, and I actually might use your ideas in a future video where I'll look at your topics and kind of expand on them and see what I think. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, and as always, a GG's.